Greetings, welcome to another day of Autoforge development. Sorry for not doing any recap videos the last few days. I've kind of been occupied with trying to get this big change wrapped up, and it took a little longer than I was expecting. That change being that we have migrated from Teal, which was a typed dialect of Lua, to TypeScriptToLua. That's right. This craziness of having TypeScript be transpiled to Lua, and then our game engine, which is written in C++, is reading those Lua files and having the game state, changing. It's kind of just like almost nonsense, but it's actually really cool also. So yeah, TypeScriptToLua, all it really does is transpile TypeScript code to Lua. It's pretty neat. I'll drop a link down below. And so I can show you what the end result looks like, which is exactly the same thing that we had before, which is really cool. And the actual cooler thing, it's great that we have it working. That's awesome. But the cool thing is how we're able to do things now. So there's a lot of changes that we're able to make that we were not able to do with Teal. One big one is that since we are using TypeScript, we can use all of the tools that are available for TypeScript. And that includes TSC, the TypeScript compiler, and also the language server, so we can have auto completion. We were able to easily move our code, our TypeScript code, into source scripts and then have it transpiled output into our data scripts folder, so that way they are completely separate. And so those are some nice things, but quite possibly the coolest thing is that we have our entity, which is being defined by this script here. So we say that it's a class, and this script is being generated by C++ and Lua Expose. Lua Expose, parses our C++ code and generates this file. But we want to be able to extend this by saying that we have components that are being added to our entity type, as well as some functions that go along with those components, right? So one thing we want to do right out the gate is to say hey, we have, in addition to our entity having the stuff that's the C++ defines, we also want to say that it has the C++ components as properties. And then quite possibly the coolest thing out of all of it is that we have our components, such as inventory component, being completely self-contained, where we define the inventory component or any other component, and then alongside that we can say, hey, our entity class has an inventory property or field and also an add inventory function that takes this data, and then we can and so we are doing this for all of our components. And to go along with that, we have our prefabs that can use these, such as add location, and we even have type checking, where we have things if we try to pass in a string here or whatever, it'll say, oh, actually can rotate should be a bool, or you can leave it undefined. And so is this going to really help a lot with kind of defining what our prefabs are? If we're ever working with our entity, we can easily see what properties are available on it, which is going to be, very helpful in developing things. We got hot reloading working. We got the works, and it's great. So now that we've kind of got that all done and wrapped up, we're able to start moving forward with writing some gameplay code. I thought we were done whenever I finished Teal, and then I ran into a big problem where there's this like circular type dependency. I wanted to use entity within a component, but I also wanted to say that the entity had that component, just like what we have right here, and Teal couldn't resolve that dependency because the entity wanted to know what the component type was, and the component wanted to know what an entity was, and so I couldn't resolve that properly. But TypeScript is able to do that perfectly fine, no problems whatsoever. So yeah, that's going to be it. If you have any questions about like how I got this working or anything along those lines, you're more than welcome to post a comment asking. Happy to answer. And as always, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.